Mate, well, you're down here now. It's obviously, I mean, it got serious over the weekend, but it just even ramps up a bit more now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, Ben. It's we're sort of into enemy territory now, and it's time to sort of bunker down for us. And we're here in game one, same situation where we're coming up against a very good football side, and but our attitude's a lot different to game one. We learned from that game and how to approach things, and obviously the preparations have been spot on this week. I believe it's been quite laid back so far, as you said, but we trained really well yesterday with an opposed session against the Queensland resident side, and we got one more training session tomorrow out at ANZ. So all the boys are in the right frame of mind for this game, and obviously looking forward to getting out there Wednesday night and playing well.
You said the preparation's been quite laid back. Has that been different as opposed to other Game 3 deciders in the past?
No, it hasn't. We've always made a big emphasis on staying relaxed as much as we can. That's how Mao likes the team to prepare, and I think that's the way we prepare best for these big games, is that we don't play the game too early, and we don't think about the game too early. I think we've had a pretty good build-up up in Queensland. Our sessions have been short, but they've been quite intense. It's been a similar build-up for us to what we had in Game 2. So if we go off the result of Game 2, that's a good indication. But we know it's going to be a different game. In Game 3, they're going to be a lot better than what they were up in Brisbane.
Ken, the first 20's been decisive in both games. They won the first 20 in Sydney, you won it in Queensland. Will that be decisive again? Do you see that as being the key?
Look, it'll go a long way to the result of the match. I don't think it'll be as clear-cut as the first two. Game 3 is always so much different to Game 1 and Game 2. The series is riding on the performances of both sides. But I think it'll it'll play a huge part in the result. But as you said, Game 1, New South Wales blew us off the park in the first 20 minutes, and they pretty much won the game from that, and the same for us in this one in Game 2. But there's been plenty of Game 3s or deciders that I've been involved in where we've come from behind. We haven't started so well, particularly down in Sydney, but we've found a way to come from behind and snatch a victory. So, but our plan's to try and play from the front like we did in Game 2.
Why is it different? You said Game 3 is different. Why are they different?
Well, I think Game 1 is more just about. It always seems to be a lot more errors in the match, and it's the first game back together as a unit, and everyone's sort of feeling their way into Origin again. Game 2 seems to be a bit faster, particularly when you're playing Brisbane. So we've had 2 matches now to sort each other out and have a feel for what both teams are going to do on the park. So this game's just about whoever wants to win the most and whoever is willing to work the hardest for the 80 minutes.
How much of a loss is Gallen for them, do you think?
Look, there's no doubt he's a huge loss. He's their captain. And he's a guy that it doesn't matter what situation their team's in the game. He puts his hand up to do plenty of work. He finishes the State of Origin every time he plays with 20 plus carries. He's up in around the 30 tackle mark. He's a huge loss, but we've had a bit of a chat about his withdrawal, and we're not taking that lightly. We don't think they're an easier side to play against because Paul Gallen's out. If anything, it's probably made them a bit more mobile. We knew if Paul Gallen played, he wasn't going to be 100% fit, but now they've got Aaron Woods in there and Boyd Cordner, who are fit, both 100% fit. So they're going to be ready to play, and they're both playing really good football. They're both in form for their respective clubs. So, if anything, we need to be even more in our game now.
Okay, even Robbie Farah having even more of a point to prove being captain as well.
Oh, look, I don't know if he has a point to prove. It's nice for him to be given the captaincy of the side. It's only a couple of years ago people were saying that he wasn't up to playing State of Origin, but now he's proved a lot of people wrong with his performances in State of Origin and now been given the captaincy. I'm sure he's certainly very proud of the opportunity, or very privileged to receive that opportunity to captain the Blues. For us, it's not about worrying about individual players. We don't sit down and look at individual blokes and how we need to shut them out of the game. It's about looking at the New South Wales Blues football side and what they do well as a team, and how we can combat them as a football side.
Greg Burke came out and said, they're not just going to play for Gallen. He cracked out the big violin and said he's going to play for all of the long-suffering Blues fans out there who've had a bit of a rough trot. Who are you guys playing for? No sympathy, obviously, for the Blues.
No, there's certainly no sympathy at all for New South Wales. It's State of Origin. It's that's what this game's built on. It's Queensland versus New South Wales. So we always go out and play for our entire state. We're a very proud state. You come to any of our training sessions and you can see what this game and what our team means to the Queensland public. We have hundreds of kids running around our training field after the game, kicking the balls with myself and JT. Coming up, having high fives and photos and getting autographs with all the boys. The Queensland State of Origin side means so much to so many people in Queensland. So we go out there and play for them, and we obviously play for ourselves as well. We have a lot of pride in our football side and what we've done over the last 7 years, and we want to go out there and continue what we've built.
Cam, you just spoke about Gallen being out. Whose decision was that to actually address that, and why did you do it?
I approached Mal when we the afternoon of when Gal withdrew, and I just sort of mentioned to him that I think it'd be good to bring up our thoughts on his withdrawal and the new guys coming in and what it's going to do for their side. I think it was important just to mention that. Just because one bloke's withdrawn, and in particular their captain, it doesn't mean that we can sort of think, well, it's going to be an easier prospect going down there and playing him because Paul Gallen's not playing. If anything, it's probably going to be even harder. So I think you see a lot of teams that when they lose a senior player or a more experienced guy, that everyone, they share the workload, and they know that they have to get out there and play even better to make sure that his loss isn't felt as much as everyone thinks it's going to be.
And on Reynolds dropping off the bench and Cordner coming in, how do you think that? Does that tell you something about the way they're going to play, or how do you think that changes?
I just think they're going to approach the game and play exactly the way they did in Game 1. They had a lot of momentum early. They played through the middle. They probably wanted to do that in Brisbane, but they just didn't have the opportunity because they had no ball. But having four big guys on the bench, there's no secret to where they're going to be coming. So we've had a little chat about that, and the boys are prepared to do the work necessary to minimise the impact those guys have on the game.
Cameron, Matt Checkin's presence at training yesterday, did that help you understand perhaps the Origin interpretations come on centre?
Well, hopefully the interpretations don't change too much from what they've been in Game 1 and Game 2. There's only, I think, probably one thing that he mentioned to us that we need to work on. I think there's going to be they're going to be pretty strict with the 10 metres this game. So that was all we worked with, and we had a session with Matt yesterday in the opposed training run with our Queensland resident side, and he was pretty happy with the way we trained and the way we communicated to him, and our 10 metres was really good.
Cam, you took 4 forwards into Game 1 and changed for Game 2. Did you find that was a liability perhaps heading into, especially on this ground?
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. I think Daly did a fantastic job in Game 2. He probably found himself in the middle fairly often, which he probably wasn't expecting. But that's what we're about. We're about. It doesn't matter where you're on the field, you got to get the job done. And as I said, he did a fantastic job. And we've done a little bit of training where he jumps into the halves. He jumps in as a fullback. He's sort of a bloke where you can chuck him anywhere and he's going to do a good job for us. So, there's no need for us, even though it's a different ground, it's a different surface. But I just think that we've got the right game plan and we've got the right mix of players in our squad to go out there and play well and play well enough to give ourselves a chance of victory.
Looking from the outside in, then, I mean, does that mean that the Blues don't because they've got the floor that you took in and
Oh no, not at all. I'm certainly not saying that. They've got different football players that need a different mix of guys to make up their best possible side. But our best possible side is having a guy like Daly Cherry Evans on the bench and a utility that when he comes on, he's got the opportunity to create things for guys like Greg Inglis and Hodges and Slater. And he takes a bit of heat off Thurston and Cronk as well. So he's just another guy there that's going to be asking questions of the New South Wales defence. Oh, look, got no idea what sort of minutes the blokes on the bench are going to be playing. But I will say in both matches, our interchange bench has been outstanding with the efforts that they put in. It's probably a little bit difficult for Joshy in game 2, given that both sides had 2 blokes in the bin and we were playing sort of 11 on 11 there. And it's really tough for a big guy when you're playing with two guys in the bin. You got to cover some metres. When you're down on some men, but he'll be better for the run. There's no doubt about that. You've seen how he played against the Cowboys and ran over JT a couple of times. He seems pretty fired up, and I spoke to him early in this camp, and he said, what a difference it makes having that State of Origin experience and then going back to club level and how comfortable you feel at club level, and it seems just a little bit slower and things come a lot easier for him. So hoping that, fingers crossed we have the opportunity to get him some more minutes, but it just depends on the way the game pans out, and hopefully he plays well.
New South Wales have talked about this being perhaps the biggest Origin match in recent years, particularly for them. Do you guys try and treat it as just another game, or are you aware of this being something special?
Oh, yeah, we don't. We know it's a huge game. There's no doubt about that. It's a decider where the series is riding on the result of this game and the performance of both sides. But we don't try and play it up too much. As I said, we try and stay as relaxed as we can. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be a little bit different with our final session at ANZ. But the biggest game I've ever been involved in was Darren Lockyer's last game. The build-up to that was just enormous. And whether that was because it was in Brisbane, I'm not too sure. But for us, it's been fairly low-key. It's been business as usual for us. But we do know once 8 o'clock rolls around Wednesday night that we all need to be ready for that. And the way we've prepared this week, I know we will be.
And your record at ANZ, it isn't great, but is that something you just dismiss?
Yeah, look, it's not great, and we'd love the record at ANZ Stadium to be better. But we've got guys involved in this side that have all won big matches there. We've all won State of Origin games there. A fair few of our side we've been involved in grand final teams that have won there. We've got 3 guys that play for the Rabbitohs that play there nearly every week of the season. So it's not a foreign place to us, and as I said, we've all been successful there before. So we just need to take the right attitude into the game. We didn't in game 1 and we got beaten. So we've learned from that, and we know how to approach this one a lot better.
Cam, the start you had in Brisbane, Sammy, and you guys up front just rolled together. How important is it for you guys to hunt as a pack?
Yeah, well, we didn't in game 1, and you've seen the result. That's we know what happens there. We were just we were dominated by their forward pack right from the first whistle, and forwards don't get a lot of accolades in our game, but they're the ones that win the game. They win the game up front, and the backs score the points. So we know we've got a huge job. It's a huge challenge for us to go well against these blokes. They got a tremendous forward pack. There's no doubt about that, and they're bolstered by James Tarmo coming back as well. He was fantastic for them in game 1. So the boys are up for it though. Scotty's pretty keen to go out there and play the way he did in game 2. He was outstanding for us. Nate Miles was great. Corey Parker was great. Big Sammy Thaiday probably had the best game he's had for Queensland in a few years. So they're all looking forward to getting out there and playing well.
Do you expect them to start with Maloney, Cam? Do you think they'll change it?
To start with Maloney,
Yeah. Or Bird at 5'8".
I'm thinking Maloney's going to start in the 6. Yeah.
There's been a bit of talk that they might put Bird out there.
I think Maloney he'll start. He obviously would have been a little bit disappointed with his game in Brisbane, but he come out and played really well for the Roosters the following week. And that's been a talking point of New South Wales, hasn't it? The halves combinations. I don't think Laurie Daly's going to change it for game 3.
Cam, I know you said that you guys don't target certain players, but James Maloney seems to have a target. He's back in game 2. Do you think that will be a part of your plan as well?
Yeah, well, it wasn't so much a target. It was more of trying to get his work rate up a little bit. It's it's what happens in the game these days. When you got quality opposition that can really hurt you when they've got the ball in their hands. You try and make them do a bit of work so they can't hurt you as much. And we didn't do that. We didn't do that good enough in game 1. And Jimmy Maloney, he and Mitchell Pearce, they pretty much had free rein on what they wanted to do when they had the ball. So it was a bit of a plan of ours to get Sammy at Jimmy a fair bit in game 2 and get his tackle count up a bit, and it worked for us. So we're going to have to do that again on Wednesday.